Okay, hello and welcome to your next lesson in Scratch. Today we're going to be looking at decomposition. What that means is when we look at something that's slightly bigger, for example, we have three shapes here. We have two triangles and a square. And when we decompose the problems, we break it down into smaller things to look at. So what we do is we identify the shape. So we can see we have a rectangle, two triangles. Now, let's have a look over here. This is something that we did a couple of weeks ago where we looked at creating variables. Now, we have two variables here. We have one which is a triangle. As you can see, we're putting our pen down and then we're going to repeat this 3 times by moving 100 steps and turning 120 degrees. And the next variable is for a rectangle where we have our steps and we repeat it twice to be able to draw a rectangle that looks like this. But what we want to do is we want to create a program that will draw this by adding the instructions over here. So today's activity is we're going to look at drawing this shape by starting with the instructions over here. So let's first have a look and clear our screen. Okay, so we have it clear. Now we're going to start off somewhere around here. As you can see, we got the X and the Y. With our motion, we can say where this currently is, we can have go to. So if we click this button, we can see it will always start and move us at this position to start off with. Okay, next we always want it to be facing 90 degrees to the right. So we always want to be pointing in this direction when we start and click this flag. So wherever we are, whichever direction he's facing, when we click the flag, he will move to this point in this direction, and it will clear whatever's been drawn on the screen. Okay, so just to show you these shapes, if I double click on the variable, okay, and again we have our triangle and we also have our rectangle like so. Okay, so let's again click this button and it will clear it and put him back here. Okay, so now we have this. What we're going to do is we are going to make sure our pen is up. So we want to clear and pen up. So we can see it's drawn this. Okay, much better. For our activity today, you're going to create a script to make a shape similar to this one that we have displayed here. Okay, so first let's clear that. Let's make sure we have got rid of this. So we have our clear, we're going to have our pen up, then we're going to move to this location and we're going to point in this direction. Okay, and we have our two variables here already created. So let's start adding to this script. So the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to add our more blocks and we're going to draw the rectangle and see how this looks. Okay, I'm going to click this button. Now we have our rectangle. We're going to try and add the triangle inside. So for this now, I'm going to move it up slightly and right slightly. Now, by moving him here, we can now add this new location. It's already taken the coordinates here, and we can add this here. And now that we've moved this way, we're now going to draw our triangle. You will notice an error, and then we're going to see if we can identify what happened and what we need to do to correct it. Okay, so I'm going to run that script, and we can see we have our triangle, we have our rectangle, but we have this line here. We don't want to have this line. So what we need to do is we're going to go to our pen, and we need to bring our pen up. So as soon as we've drawn the rectangle, we're going to lift up our pen, then move to the location. Okay, so we're going to pick up our pen once we've drawn the rectangle, pick up our pen, move to this location, and then draw the triangle. So let's test that out now and see how that works. Okay, great. As you can see, we have a one triangle in the middle of this rectangle. Now we're going to draw a second triangle to the right slightly. So what we have is the X and Y axis. Now the Y axis is when we move it up and down, and then the X will be along like so. So we're going to move our second triangle somewhere around here. So let's go to our motion. After it's drawn the triangle, we want to bring our pen up again. And then we're going to move to this location. But because we want the triangle to be on the same line, we need to make sure that the y-axis is the same. I'll show you what will happen if we don't change it. So let's go and draw our second triangle. If we run this, we can see this second one is higher than the first one, and we want them to be on the same line. So to do this, the y-axis has to be the same. So for consistency, we're going to have them both at 21 because that looks about right. Let's run this again, and you can see the triangles are at the same level like so. Now, let's say you wanted to move the second triangle to the right more slightly. So what we can do is we know that the x-axis is moving it horizontally like so. So we have the first triangle at minus 160. We have the second one, which is at minus 26. So let's change this to minus 2. And what should happen is this triangle should be drawn further to the right like so. Let's test that out. Okay, just like this. Okay, so your activity today is to create this script in Scratch and then upload this to your Google Classroom. Okay, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing your work.